Hey everyone, my name is Josh, and welcome back to your fourth stimulus check and news update. We have a lot of news to get into in today's video, but first, if you would like to receive 2 free stocks from Webull valued up to $2,300, make sure to claim them by clicking my link, which you will find in the description box below. Okay, so today, President Joe Biden plans on signing the infrastructure bill into law. According to Reuters, the White House said Biden will be joined by lawmakers on both sides of the aisle who helped write the piece of legislation, ranging from governors and mayors of both parties to labor unions and business leaders. The bill was written largely by a core of bipartisan group of 10 Senate lawmakers led by Democratic Senator Kyrsten Sinema and Republican Senator Rob Portman. Other Republicans who plan on joining the ceremony include Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, who also happen to co-author the piece of legislation. Even though the minority leader in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, does not plan on attending, he did say the bill was basically written in the Senate by a bipartisan group of Republicans and Democrats. All the House did last week was simply take up the Senate bill and pass it. The bill was crafted in the Senate, 19 Republicans voted for it. I was one of them. I think it was good for the country, and I'm glad it passed. Of course, even though 19 of the 50 Republicans in the Senate voted for it, only 13 of the 213 Republicans in the House voted in approval. And now, those 13 Republicans in the House, because of breaking with their party, are now receiving death threats from some people. Police in New York State, for example, said they arrested a man and charged him with aggravated harassment for making an alleged death threat to one of the Republican representatives who happened to vote for the bill. Former President Donald Trump has been one of the most outspoken people against the bill, calling the Republicans who voted in favor of it rhinos and that they should be ashamed of themselves. Regardless, Joe Biden and the Democrats got their second big victory of the year, with the first being the passage of the American Rescue Plan. Next up will be attempting to pass the Build Back Better plan. According to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, in the House, they're supposed to hold a vote on that bill by the end of this week, being that our representatives will be leaving for a long recess on Thursday night, taking Friday off, and the entire week after that, they'll only have around 4 days to get it done. One of the biggest issues and things standing in the way of a possible vote in the House is proving to moderate Democrats, such as Josh Gottheimer, that the bill will be fully paid for. Moderate Democrats say they won't vote for the bill until they first receive a score from the Congressional Budget Office. Of course, as of right now, the CBO says they probably won't have the full analysis ready until at earliest Thursday of this week, and possibly even after Thanksgiving. This means if whatever they release isn't enough data for Gottheimer and the rest of the moderates, they may not be holding a vote this week on the bill. And now that they got what they wanted, a vote on the infrastructure bill, progressive Democrats don't really have any more leverage. In a tweet, the leader of the House Progressive Caucus, Pramila Jayapal, said, "It's time to make critical investments into paid leave, childcare, pre-K, home care, climate action, healthcare, affordable housing, immigration, and so much more. Let's get this done and build back better." Jayapal also said Joe Biden has shown tremendous leadership on getting his Build Back Better Act to this important moment. Time to pass it without delay. The American people are waiting. So Jayapal and the rest of the Progressive Caucus are ready to vote, but the big question is, are the moderates ready? And is this bill actually fully paid for? Some will argue if the bill is actually paid for, then why do we need to raise the debt limit? Here is the White House National Economic Council Director, Brian Deese, saying he is confident the Build Back Better plan will be fully paid for.
As you know, our next guest is Senator John Barrasso. He's expressed the view of an overwhelming majority of Republicans that the Build Back Better plan is going to actually fuel inflation. He calls it a socialist agenda and a socialist budget. Your response?
It's quite the opposite. Look, every serious economist that has looked at this proposal has said that it will not add to long-term inflationary pressure. 17 Nobel Prize-winning economists said the same. And the reason is because it's paid for. You know, we haven't fully paid for a bill in Washington for some time. Senator Barrasso and his colleagues in the prior administration passed $2 trillion in tax cuts, fully unpaid for, added to the deficit. Here, what we're doing is making smart long-term investments, but offsetting those with tax increases. When you do that, it's fully paid for, you actually reduce the deficit over the long term. You don't impact inflation. What you do is you actually increase the productive capacity of our economy. You get more people to work by providing affordable child care and affordable care for an elderly parent. That's what this bill will do.
You say it's fully paid for, but the Congressional Budget Office still hasn't weighed in and certified that it actually is fully paid for. And you've got several moderates in both the House and the Senate, Democrats, who say they're not going to vote for the bill until they're confident that the CBO says it is fully paid for. Are you confident the CBO is going to back your judgment?
We're confident this bill, as it moves through the process, is going to be fully paid for. And not only that, it's actually going to reduce deficits over the long term. We've already seen the Independent Joint Committee on Taxation, as well as the Treasury Department, look at the tax components of this bill and say not only are they enough to offset the investments in this package, but actually over the long term, they will reduce the deficit by trillions of dollars because we're making permanent changes to the tax code. We're actually going to address the fact that right now, profitable companies in America can pay nothing in taxes. We're going to put a minimum tax in place, 15%, that all corporations have to pay. We're going to address the fact that today, there's an affirmative incentive for companies to move production and profits overseas to try to find lower tax opportunities. By putting a global tax system in place, we're not only going to generate revenue to invest in things like childcare and preschool, but we're also going to encourage more investment here in the United States. When you do that for the long term, you generate revenue that will reduce deficits across time. So we're confident that we'll get that done. And frankly, it's been some time in Washington since we've done something that's fiscally responsible. This is the process. We write a bill, the Joint Committee on Taxation passes judgment, which they already have publicly. The Congressional Budget Office will provide additional information this week. We're confident that that will be sufficient to get this through the House.
So according to these, the bill will not just be fully paid for, but it'll also reduce the deficit over time. Of course, even if they do pass it to the House, whether that be this week or 1 month from now, it'll still face issues once it reaches the Senate. That's because Democrats really only have 48 votes for it at the moment, with Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema still opposing the bill. In their minds, with all the recent inflation taking place, it wouldn't be fiscally responsible. So at this point, they'll either need to remove a lot more measures from the bill, or it may just end up completely dying. If they end up removing even more measures from the bill and it ends up going down to, say, $1 trillion, will progressive Democrats in the House still be for it? Because remember, if the Senate amends the bill and removes many of the measures from the House-passed bill, from there, the bill will go back to the House, where it'll once again need to be approved. So in theory, the two chambers of Congress could end up playing a game of ping pong where the bill just keeps getting amended and in the end may never end up passing. So needless to say, we have a very interesting rest of the year, and at this point, with Manchin's strong opposition to more spending with all this inflation, it's hard to see this bill passing anytime soon. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Again, if you would like to receive a couple free stocks from Webull, make sure to quickly claim them by clicking my link in the description box below. To receive the first stock, you will need to fully open an account. Then to receive the second free stock, which will be valued up to $2,000, you'll need to make a qualifying deposit of at least $5. And even if you aren't all that interested in investing or continuing to invest at this point in time, you can always sell the free stocks you receive and transfer that money, however much they're worth, right back to your bank account. So free stocks or free money is completely up to you. So once again, I hope everyone has a great and safe rest of their day. If you did enjoy the content in today's video and you found it helpful, I would greatly appreciate if you would give this video a like, a big thumbs up. That does help out with the YouTube algorithm. And until next time, as always, I'll see you in the next video.